Yes, my name is Bonnie Inman, and I have a son in SCDC system. He's been incarcerated since, he's been at SCDC since April of 2017. He is a victim of the mandatory sentencing that South Carolina has. Other states have it too, I know. But a lot of other states have already passed reform bills to do away with it. And he had overcome his problems. He had a thriving business. He was a licensed contractor. He got married. He had a child. And he was a trustee at church. And then he slipped because it was an addiction. It is an addiction. It never goes away. But instead of getting help, he was slapped with the mandatory 10-year sentence. He is not allowed parole. So it's 85% of 10 years, period, no matter what he does. And the reform bill would hopefully change that and give him a chance to become a good citizen again. I mean, how do you help somebody if you lock them away? The comparison between the sentence and the charges and the release time is ridiculous. Like, my son has no violent charges, no category 4s, yet he did get the 85% mandatory rule. Not allowed parole, not allowed to earn credits.
Right.
And you don't give him any help. He has a loving family out here. He has a business waiting on him, and he has a son that's waiting to have a daddy, that he can be with and see. I've heard many attorneys say that it's unfair, this mandatory sentence, and it needs to change because it's not consistent across the board. Most of them need help more than being punished. And if you don't allow somebody to earn good time credits, why do you expect them to be good?
Right.
Why should they obey the rules, try to better themselves, try to go to church, try to read, try to go to school, do anything good if it doesn't affect their time? I don't know how that happens. How does it happen? Can anybody tell me why it happens? These reform bills need to be pushed through to make things more even across the board and give everybody a fair chance. He's bored to tears. They're all just stuck there like chickens in a cage. He tested positive, it was 2 weeks ago, but he was moved into quarantine before he tested positive because his supervisor had tested positive. So they moved all of them, just lumped them in together and didn't test any of them. Well, everybody was fine, and then a week later they moved three more in there that had fevers, but they had a negative rapid test, which is not a good indication. So those 3 were in there for 3 days with these 20 men that had no symptoms before they got a positive test and moved. So he tested positive. 3 days later, they moved him over to another quarantine dorm. So I don't know how long he will be quarantined, and if he will get to move back to his regular dorm with his regular whatever area and go back to work. Well, his son is now 7, and the last time he saw his son, he was 5. He saw him in December of 2019, so he was 6, and I haven't seen him since September of 2019, and it's really, really hard. It's hard to have a relationship with your daddy when you're 6 and you're 7, and all you can do is hear his voice. You know, it's wearing thin on my son. Their nerves are all shot because they don't see, they don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see when visitation might start back. And they do have tablets now, but, you know, they don't even have the option of video visitation. I don't think that would be good, but it would be better than nothing. He has no idea how much his son has grown, that he's gotten a foot taller, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's causing a strain with the family, us not seeing him, and especially with him not seeing us. The staff is limited. The staff that are there have short fuses, and because they're having to do multiple jobs. And I think they've actually had to call in some kind of temporary help with the kitchen, with the food, because all the kitchen help got COVID. So there's some kind of in-training program that they've got workers to come in and do the food and cook and serve their meals. And he's just said it's bad because, and they're not.
Sometimes they're only getting 2 meals a day.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I think one morning they got breakfast at like 7, and then they didn't get dinner. They didn't get another meal until 7 that night. So it's just the shortage of their staff has affected everybody. I know it's affected them, but it's especially affected the inmates because they don't have any control over their food when their meals are served, or the cleanliness when they get, you know, anything like that. Their mail, but the staff are afraid to come close to them. So they have gotten canteen, I think, twice in the last month.
And you're referring to because now that he has COVID, he's isolated in a place where other people have COVID. So when you say the staff is afraid to come close to him, they get even less care.
Oh yeah, they get even less attention, less care. My name is Bonnie Inman. This is my husband Pete and my grandson Benjamin. And I'm here to beg you to please push through these prison reform bills. My son is an inmate at SCDC, and he's been incarcerated under the mandatory sentencing rule. And when he went in, this little boy was 3, and it's a hardship on us, and it's a very unfair rule. He is not allowed any kind of parole. He is not allowed to earn good time or education or work time credits. And if he were to get out early, it would mean a financial difference to the SCDC because it's one less mouth for them to feed and house, and it would be a great relief for us. He has a job waiting for him, a wonderful son, and a position in his community because he was a good citizen that just slipped. And instead of punishment, he should have received help for an addiction.